And here we go. Good morning, afternoon, evening, day, night, whatever is appropriate for you. How is everybody today? I see we have a couple of people joining us early. That's good. Isaac, how's it going? Good evening. Okay, you see before you the globe of Cartyrion, as it would appear from approaching from space. Not that we'll be approaching from space. Today I'm going to try a little experiment for myself as well as everyone else. This is all tools I've used, but I'm giving myself a bit of a challenge today. I need to create the map for the region that will be used in my Alliance Challenge article, and I am going to attempt to get the entire process done from start to finish, at least far enough done that it's good enough for the article, from start to finish in this 2-hour stream. So, and when I say from start to finish, I mean from plucking the region off my world map down to getting some of the detailing work done on the region map as I'm done. So we'll see how that's going to work. But you guys will get a chance to see my whole process from start to finish. And maybe we'll all learn something. We'll see. One other quick thing before I do start. You will notice above my head, right up there, there's something new on the screen. Many of you have heard of the Game of Tomes that will be played by everybody that's committing to NaNoWriMo this year. The way where I'm not going to get into the whole details. It's long, it's complicated, and this is basically Sable Laradia's baby. Well, with a few others. But the short game is there are 6 major houses, and yes, this is being modeled after Game of Thrones. There are 6 major houses that will be competing to amass the highest word count during sprint totals during the month of November and NaNoWriMo. And they will amass those totals by having people, all of us, contributing our word totals to one of the 6 major houses. All right, and to get everybody else involved, it was agreed that in addition to the 6 major houses, and again, if you've seen Game of Thrones or read the books, you'll know that besides the major houses, like Lannister and Targaryen even, and a few of the others, there were a whole bunch of minor houses that would generally pledge themselves to one of the major houses. Well, House Sauropoda is one of those minor houses. So over the course of October, this will get explained to you further. But House Sauropoda will be a way for you folks to, an additional way for you folks to play if you're doing sprints and writing for NaNoWriMo and playing along with the game. You can either pledge your points, your words directly to one of the major houses, or you can pledge them to me and House Sauropoda, and I in turn must then pledge all of my accumulated points, and that's my own writing plus anybody that's basically willing to give their words to me. They will have to be in turn pledged to one of the 6 major houses. Except that each week I can change my alliance. I don't have to declare at the beginning and be stuck with it for the whole time. So yes, the minor houses get to play the treachery game. So it should be fun, and again, you'll hear a lot more about that as we go. Before we get started, let's see. Chandra Mikaro has a question for Synergosy. Every 21 years we have a double solar eclipse. When was the last one? No idea. When you say we have a double solar eclipse every 21 years, oh yeah, yeah, I do say that, don't I? Haven't figured out exactly when the last one was. A lot of that's going to have to do with how, we could even ask. There's a couple of questions. There's a couple of final setup questions for the world that I think we're going to poll. Set up a poll and ask for opinions. And if we get enough opinion, we'll use it. And if we don't get enough opinion, we'll make something up. And that's one of the questions: is how quickly do you want? Because a lot of that'll have to do with what people mean. What meaning people put to that. If we have some of the minor, or some of the the Neolithic areas that have a huge superstitious focus on that. All right, I don't want to spring it on them in the first 6 months while they're still putting getting everything together. So, although maybe they want to focus a story about, once they have a world built, maybe they want to write a story about the upcoming eclipse. So we'll have to see. So my short answer is I don't know yet. Let's see who else has joined. Delian has joined. Moonflower has joined. Yes, I'm adjusting my posture. I do have hydration. Delian, I already hit the coffee. Thank you for that. All right, you'll do this then. Destroyed by a storm. 2 double solar eclipses ago. Yeah, that's safe. All right. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to get started. I'm going to try to get this map done from start to finish, from the beginning. So what you're looking at now, this is Cartyrion as viewed from space. It's a nice global view. This is Fractal Terrain, Fractal Terrains 3 from Pro Fantasy Workshops. By the way, that you're looking at, this is the tool that I use to generate the original landmass for my world. The area that I want to map today happens to be on almost exactly the opposite side of the world from what we're looking at. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to change the viewing coordinates to 20 degrees latitude minus 145 degrees longitude, and I'm going to change the scale. No, I'm not going to change the scale yet. And we boom it around, and now we're on the other side of the world, and this is Wolf's Bay. Actually, this is Wolf's Bay, and I have to name this. But this is the area that I want to try to get onto a map today. So the first step I need to do is, first of all, kind of zoom in on it a little bit so we can see it a little better. Now, of course, this is a global projection, so all the map scales are different depending on where on the map you are, and all of that kind of good thing. And that doesn't work for rectangular or flat maps. So the real first thing I need to do is come in here, and I've done I've done these things before, so I know what it is I'm looking for. And I need to basically, I'm going to both zoom in and change projections. And now I have a projection that I can use. All right, it's flattened the map out for me, and I've also expanded it. And again, I'm not going to do this whole picture. I'm going to basically be keying on an area from about this vertical to here, and I want to probably just catch the top of that, the bottom of that lake, and down to, I don't know that I have to come all the way down to this latitude line, but at least somewhere around the bottom of this mountain area. So that's the area I'm going to do, and in order to do that, the first thing I need to do is actually save a copy of this, and you can see I've already gone through this step just to make sure that I wasn't going to completely screw up on camera, but we'll do it again anyway. I'm going to save this image as a JPEG, and I can just take the defaults for this, because what I'm going to basically do is use this image as a as a shadow template of sorts in Incarnate when I get into Incarnate. All right, so I'm done with that. Now I'm going to say hello to my puppy, and I'm going to bring up paint.net, and I'm going to open the image that I just created, and I'm going to select the area that I care about, which is basically from the top of the map. Go right along that meridian, come down, and again, I don't need to come all the way down here. This is probably good enough. Go right to the landmass point, because I need to do one quick measurement. As you'll see in a second, I'll need to go back to the globe map and do one quick measurement. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to just crop out that. That's the map that I'm going to work on drawing today. All right, because you know what? Because I have towns that are kind of all along here, and there's a few in the interior. So it'll do for the purpose that it's going to do now. I may end up coming back and changing this map a little bit. The problem is it's got huge alright, I'm going to change it to a ping because they seem to work better, and as you can see I've done this already once before, so I'm going to just use the same name and overwrite it. Alright, so I have my ping file ready. I'm ready to go with that. Now the one thing I do want to do is I want to come back here real quick, and I want to measure out what kind of map scale we're talking about. And Fractal Terrain does have a ruler tool, and if I go from those two lines, alright, so that's about 3,900 miles, shall we say? So that's a pretty big area going, in that direction. And top to bottom, I went from the top of the map down to about that land tip, and that's 4,800 miles. So we're going to say 3,900 by 4,800. All right, and I'll need to know those when I set up and scale my map in Incarnate. So now we can get started, and we're going to come in here. I don't need to sign up. I need to log in. Where's my login? You use cookies, right? There's a sign in. There we go. And it knows who I am. And here we go. And we are going to create a new map. Now the first thing I need to decide in Incarnate is what do I want this map to look like approximately. And I have a couple of choices. I think I usually go Fantasy World. This is the one I usually end up in. Do I want this one to be different, though? Someday I may play with this. What do people think? Hey, Tillers, how's it going? Welcome. It's either that or that. Now this is too short range. This is I don't need cities, so that's not going to work. I'm going to go with what I'm comfortable with, because I want to get this done. All right, and that'll be this one. So that's my style. I actually want a portrait scale here. We can go with high resolution, that's fine. It doesn't need to be ultra, it's going to get scaled down to display anyway. So this is a 3:4. How close is that going to be to what I want? Well, we'll find out. Okay, and there's my initial map. So the first thing I need to do is come into layers. Remember how to do this. I need to... Oh, I can do a resize from here too. That's good to know. I need to import the map. See, this is the part I should have practiced beforehand. Yeah, this is my layer. I actually want to have that in here. There's multiple layers. Import. Come on, Bob. I know it's here someplace. Wasn't just a drag and drop, was it? Let's find out. No. What did that do? Don't you love when it starts out like this? I know there's a way to do this, because I did it before. My save. Let's recreate my land masses. Flower. Feels like the sun is coming through my eyes. Yeah, Tiller's drag and drops can be dangerous, yes. I know I can do this because I've done it. Where is the place to import? Okay, when in doubt. I know it can be done. Or did they change something that it can't be done? They just changed something. Aha. Great. Wonderful. That's what I needed to see. No, this is years old. No, that shouldn't be that problem. I need to upload the object. Yeah, that's not going to help me. Imported as a texture, okay. Alright, so textures are... Here we go. Now I remember how to do this. This is my existing texture catalog. Nothing, of course, only used on this map yet. And here you see I have one here. Upload image. That'll do because I'm just using this as a trace base. Okay, now I've selected that. It should now be a matter of first of all setting my layer. Texture tool. How does this work again? That's going to scale the whole thing, isn't it? Do I have to custom scale this thing? Yes, I know I could go with a bigger eraser. But I need to rescale something here. Wonder where I can do that. Isn't it fun when people get when you practice stuff? Let's see how to quality. Here's where we start. Okay. Breakfast is done. Yay! You need a term to replace miles with. Makara, before you do that, ask yourself a question. Do you really need to? If you're planning on building this world just as an exercise, then it's fun to do that. If you're building this world for a writing base or for a game playing base, do you really need to introduce a whole different measurement system that's only going to confuse the reader or the player? Sometimes it's easier to just leave things like that alone and just not mention it, and not deal with the fact that, yeah, of course a mile isn't exactly the same in another world that evolves completely different. But otherwise you end up spending forever doing conversions so that people know what's going on. But it's up to you. Everything is up to you. I'm going to do something interesting here. I promised sprints. Since I'm going to be floundering here a little bit until I get this going, I'm going to launch a 10-minute sprint. So anybody that's actually doing work and wants to focus on work and not listen to me try to figure out how this works again, because I know I've made it work before. So I'm not worried about that. But I'll let you guys run a sprint, and we'll see what happens at the other end of the sprint if I'm ready to move on to the next step, because the next steps are fun. So I will fire off this sprint in 3, 2, 1, and go. And the sprint clock is up on the top, by the way, now, so it's up around here someplace. Up there. Okay. Let me try uploading this again and see if I can do something different. by the way. You saw my puppy before. That's the cat. And that's not what I want. That's what I want. Now, this time, brush, open catalog. I don't want that anymore. I want What does this do? That's interesting. I can size these. Stop. This is the texture I want. Agitate emptiness. Up on the sprint. How did people do on the sprint? Anybody recording numbers for their sprints? How did I do this before? Just like 10 minutes ago. Why isn't it putting the texture down for me? I've selected my texture. Sorry, by the way, I forgot to put my microphone back up after that. This is what happens when I get frustrated. This is not supposed to be this hard. Tillers, you have players bother you because of wrong measurements. You're gonna look for new players. What else did I miss back here? Yeah, like I said, the issue with miles. I mean, you could use a number, you know. You Star Trek fans out there, how long is a Kellicam? Does anybody have any idea? When Klingons start calling out ranges to target, do you have any idea what they're talking about? Would you like to have an idea what they're talking about? Why is this thing? Because my mouse wheel is touchy, that's why. I got a new mouse, and the mouse wheel does not have a ratchet on it. It's kind of free spinning, which is real good for a lot of things, but it can be a little crazy for a few other things. Why am I not getting this map texture to paint? I'm missing something silly here. I'm sure it's something silly. If I hide the foreground. What if I hide the foreground and the background? That gives me a blank map. There's my background. I've selected my texture. I have my brush. See, now if I were coloring, that works fine. But I'm texturing. And it's not drawing it in. shows it to me while I'm in here playing with the sizing. That's what I want to see. Try something simple. If I back into the texture catalog, I find they're all kind of green, aren't they? That's all the different ices. Water green, water 10, but that's I think what we were already at, isn't it? No, that's what we're at. See, now this is painting. This is changing the texture. So why won't it let me change this texture? There's something funny or messed up going on here. And I am not going to waste any more time on it. I'm going to have to go do some hunting and research and catch another video on how people manage to do this. I know I've done it before. I've got another map that did this. So I'm not lying to you. It can be done. This is what I get for challenging myself to get it all done in 2 hours. I'm going to change gears a little bit. VODs and other stuff on the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. That's me. Let's see, what am I missing in the chat? You guys have been at least ignoring me properly, which is a good thing. Makara, you're still mapping out distances. Tiller's working on a custom sheet. Custom sheet for what, if I may ask? Players that bother me because of measuring distances. Yeah, we saw that. Isaac, Incarnate's being rude. Incarnate is being nasty rude. I mean, I've done this just to show you that I'm not crazy. All right. Yes, I have unsaved changes out up here. These maps were done exactly the same way. All right. So if I take, for example, the pick one of these. Let's just start with this one. All right. The landmass borders for this map were done by laying a copy of the map. Oh, you know what? Is there another way I can do this? Aha! We found the secret. We have found the secret. Let us go back to here. Let us create a new map. Let us not go to textures. Let us go to assets and go into the catalog and upload that image. That image will look. I can resize it when I get it in here. I'm almost tempted to bring it in small. I am going to bring it in small. We'll see what happens. Okay. We are now going to select that asset. We are going to put it down on the map. We are going to stretch it to the size of the map. Look how quick and easy this is once you remember how it's done. We are going to move it layer-wise. Unlock it. Bury it. Because we're going to delete it eventually. Okay. And now we're going to come to the background with our brush. I should say actually to the foreground with our brush. And not with our brush, but with our selection tool. And we're going to shrink the size. Well, we're going to grow the map a little bit. But then we are going to reduce the size of our drawing marker. And if I live right, this should now let me, let's actually zoom this way out. And I don't want to do in wild shape, I want to be here. This should now let me do that, but it doesn't know what it's doing. Why not? I was in ad mode. I want to be in subtract mode. No, I need to do something else first. Not because this is on the wrong layer, is it? What does it say? One locked. What's locked? Two objects on here. Oh, look at that. And that was my drawing. So what was it doing? I have this on the wrong layer. like this one. That doesn't change anything, but it was there twice. What does that do? Should put it on the top, shouldn't it? Oh, I'm not being a very good host today, am I? Tries to find how many bullets an air gun can fire. That's going to depend on the gun. Let's see, what else am I missing here? Tillers. Custom D&D 5e sheet for Anvilite. Like changing things for house rules. Oh, wonderful. Good luck with that. Moonflower zoning out, trying to decide on a number. I'm going to launch another sprint just so that you guys have a little more music to hear while I'm still fighting with this thing. It looks like it's... I'm doing something silly, and I'm gonna find out what I'm doing wrong, and I'm gonna fix this for next week. Because I don't want to leave it like this. This is a simple process. I've done it before. It works very easily. I'm overlooking something stupid right now, and I don't know what. I'll chalk it up to not enough coffee yet. I've told people Incarnate is a very easy tool to use. It is a very easy tool to use. Why I am having this trouble is beyond me. I know what I could do. I mean, apparently, right now, the stuff I'm doing is in fact making its way onto the map. So that if I keep drawing these borders, for example, I need to find out what's going on with that. Why I can't scroll in two directions. That's a mouse issue though. That's not a software issue. But if I, for example, continue to come in here and draw these little islands, and draw these coastlines, this. We're not seeing anything here, but the reality is they're showing up in the other layer. And when I get rid of this item, this last lake. Should do it. I just need to finish. That. And now, if I back to the objects and delete them. Why didn't it show everything? It showed some, but not all. This is getting frustrating. See, once I have those outlines, it's supposed to be as simple as this. Then I just kind of fill it in with a slightly fatter brush. And a fatter brush still. Until I have all of the land. Laid out, and that's but why didn't it show me my other drawing lines now? Is that because I was on different layers again? This is showing all layers. I wasn't in subtract mode instead of add mode, was I? I was in add mode. Alright, that's enough of this. I've killed enough time on this, and I'm not getting anywhere. I will find this, I will fix this, I will do a proper tutorial on how to do this at some point in the future. In the meantime, let us salvage the last 2 hours of this, or the last 2 hours, the last 45 minutes of this stream, and do something a little more interesting. So I am going to go back to the top. Yes, I'm going to throw away my work. I am going to say goodbye to Incarnate for the time being. And we are going to jump into the world of Cartyrion. And we are going to find our alliance article. And we are going to look at a few things on our alliance article. The first thing we're going to do is clean up a little bit of this thing. And the first part of that is going to be to make this mess go away. Now, I have been told that the way to make that mess go away although looking at it, I have to wonder how much of that mess it's going to make go away, because it looked to me like the idea was to, I just have to find the code again. Oh, I'm just having such a wonderful day. I need to take a 3-minute break and go and see what is up with my animals at the moment. They are acting up, and my wife is apparently outside. So I will be back in 3 minutes, or give or take, and please stick around. Stare at the dinosaur who will be threatening you if you attempt to leave, and I will be right back. Okay, we are back. Silly animals, Animal House, yep. It's just one of those days. I need to find... Does Twitch keep whispers? You're all looking at my history here. Because... it would help if I looked in whispers, wouldn't it? Because Siobhan sent me... article CSS that should make the junk on the side disappear. Let's see if this works. Changes, view, and it did. Good. So that's change number one I want to make. Change number two, just to show people what's going on, and get an opinion too. When I first started to set up this web, the diplomacy web, I put the alliance itself in the middle. Well, I set up the alliance itself as something with relationships and connected everybody to it. The only reason these aren't all colored green is I just haven't gotten to them all. But it occurs to me that, I mean, by definition, they're all in the alliance. So I don't know that I need to show that at all. And in fact, what's much more interesting are the relationships that the members have with each other. All right, because they don't all like each other. All right, this is an alliance of necessity and convenience, and not of idealism. This is an alliance that consists of 5 pirate factions and 4 mercenary factions that all come from the same country, and they've banded together because they realized they were wasting an awful lot of energy beating each other up. And in the case of the mercenaries especially, not only were they beating each other up, but they were beating each other up on behalf of some other clowns halfway across the world. All right? And they decided that, that this wasn't a good look for the country. So kind of out of necessity, the alliance formed to basically set up some guidelines and rules about how they behave with each other as they are interacting with the world in their preferred fashion. And that means, for the pirates when they're raiding and so forth. So you don't have two pirate factions beating each other up to capture the same prize. They kind of set up rules to govern, who gets what prizes in what parts of the world at what times. But even with those agreements, which they do stick to, they don't necessarily like each other. Some of them get along very well. Some of them there's some places where there's very good relationships between the mercenaries and the pirates, because they use them for land raids. There's other situations where Pirate Group A wouldn't allow a member of Mercenary Group B to ever set foot on one of their ships. So those are the relationships that are actually the interesting ones worth exploring in the future. So I think those are the ones I want to show on the web. And obviously in a 2,500 word article I can't go into all of the detail on that, but I can hint at the fact that there's interesting internal political things going on. And that's what makes this whole alliance so fascinating in the first place. So I think what I'm going to try doing, because I can always put it back if I have to, I am going to remove the links, and I'm so that it doesn't cloud the whole picture. I'm going to take out all of the diplomacy links that connect a member to the alliance itself, and just go with the member-to-member ones. All right, and we can, for example, because you see, what'll those do? That'll be interesting too. Eventually I have to get images for all of these things. I got a lot of work to do on this article. So the first thing I want to do is come back to sections. It's probably at the bottom of this, right? It is. I want to take my own advice, and I'm going to take this out of here, and I'm going to put it below this. And you see what that does to the article now. Help if I refreshed it. Because what I actually have in the article, I still have to fill in some of the generic stuff at the top. But what we have here, these are the 9 members of the alliance, and there's a little blurb on each one. All right. So then below that, I put the alliance, I put the web, and I can start mentioning what the relationships are among the pieces. So what would that start to look like now? If I come to diplomacy, if I get rid of all of the ones that actually link to the league, which is going to be everything here. That's interesting. Can I even do this? If I go to, I do have stub articles for these for the various players. So let's take Yusaki Revenge, for example. Okay. Here we go. And if I come into Edit Organization with Yusaki Revenge, go to diplomacy. You see, I'm going to need that because if I add a diplomatic relationship, can I change this? I see I can't change that one, so it has to be there. So that one does have to be there, unfortunately. But what I can do, for example, is show the relationship between Yusaki Revenge, which is a rat folk pirate organization, and the Swarm, which is a rat folk mercenary organization. And we can say that these guys have a pretty good relationship between each other. I'm not going to say anything. Let's not put too much into this, but let's do that. And at the same time, let's say here and just look something up real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. But at the same time, they have a very poor relationship with the Silent Shield. So what does that look like now? First of all, does that show up here? See, now those relationships don't even show up here, do they? I'd actually have to look at this one. Or did I not save this? See, because like I said, this is a pretty boring relationship map. But if I just come in here and change all of these, folks must be telling me to hydrate. All right, as I get a few more of these things out in there, it's going to just draw a few more green lines, but that doesn't change the interesting relationships that I'm looking. There's no way I'd actually have to go. Do I actually have to go to Yisaki's Revenge? Oh, come on. See, I've seen people with very interesting histograms all over the place. Hold on just 1 second, I'll be right with you. I've seen people with maps, that have everything cross-linked. And I'm not sure how that happens now. Because this histogram is tied to this article. Unless there's something in charts. Charts is just content trees. So, if I go to if I go to Yisaki's Revenge now, and I grab that widget and put it somewhere. Is that the secret? Do I have to actually build this out? Somewhere else? No, but they're all different. And I can't add something to this list that does not have Yisaki's Revenge in it. So if I come over here and that in there, save, view. And Yisaki's Revenge will show me, here's the Free Traders League. And here they have a good relationship with the Swarm and a bad relationship with the Silent League. But when I come back to itself, I don't see the cross relationships from Yisaki. All I see is them to the Free Traders League. And I can't add somebody's trying to help me here. Isaac is trying to help. Hold on. Yeah, it would definitely be more interesting to see how the pirates think about each other than how the pact they formed. Yes, I agree. It's diplomacy pound tag name. See, if you tag the members of the alliance with, say, Pirate Alliance, you would do diplomacy, Pirate Alliance, and it would show the crossing web. Where do you mean? In the This is the web now. I've got to do a tag web. Okay. Yeah, I know. I know I can do tags to the articles. I do that. All right. This one might not have any right now, but I could certainly fix that. So what we're saying is, I would, for example, let's do Yusaki's Revenge. If I want all of these things to show up in one place, let's say I set up a tag called Wolf's Bay League and give that to all of the members. Alright, so let's put a Wolf's Bay League on there. Let's just get a couple of samples and test this. Alright, so we have Wolf's Bay League. We have... search down here. Yeah, here they all are. Scourge of the Waves. Let's do the ones that I was just playing with. I just did Wolf's Bay League. Swarm. That one's done. And Silent Shield. We have that one. Let's just crank through them all. Scourge of the Waves. Bloodsingers. Let's see, who do we have left? There's only 9, so this shouldn't be too bad. Not those guys, not those guys. The Dedicated Axe and the Fellowship. Save changes. Of course, I don't have all of these relationships in there yet, but Fellowship. Who are we missing? Tides. Raging Storm. How many we have? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so that should be all of them. Just for giggles, I'm going to put the league itself in too. Okay, now, then I would do diplomacy, just Wolf's Bay League, and that's it, huh? So, alright, so now I've thrown these guys in, so that may complicate the matter, but you're saying that what I need to do is come over here, and instead of this diplomacy with this long tag, just that. Let's find out. Let's clean up some of the garbage here. Let's view. And look at that. Oh, and this one actually puts the lines out this way. And it shows what's the double? The double line is the like don't like, I suppose. That's interesting too. Now what else is different? On this one, when you hover over something, okay, oh, because this one is the one that's focused on this entity. So when you hover over something on the sides, you get the little pop-up thing at the bottom. There's no little pop-up things at the bottom of this. That's fine. I can live without that. But it does show the relationships. It only shows them by color. It doesn't show them by link. There's no way to bring up any more information from these things, huh? The tag one doesn't have anything come up about hover, which is honestly a bit of a shame, yeah. Yeah, so if one side feels different about the other, it'll show up as a different line. Unfortunately, they're not directional. So it doesn't tell you who it is that doesn't like who. It just tells you that there's a disparity there. I wonder if it's worth having both. All right, so this one I would take out the Free Traders League. So what happens if I do that? What if I come in here and kill that and do a save changes? What does the second one look like now? Oh, that's interesting. It broke the second one. crosslinks are gone. This one is still here because I told it to center on that. This one now doesn't know what to do with the lines. That's interesting. If I come back here and put that back in, now it's fine. Isn't that curious? Yeah, oh, there's going to be lots more lines in these. There's actually lines between every one of these members. So it's going to be a big, messy, ugly web. And whereas this one is a nice, simple one. That is what it is. Okay, Isaac, thank you for that tip. I was not aware of the tag-based diplomacy webs. That's could get some interesting use out of that. I still have to go in and put in all of the relationships, of course. But I have to do that anyway. And there's a whole mess of those, so how many? Let's see, there would be 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5, so that's what? What's 8 plus 7 plus 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1? Because that's how many relationships I have to define. Oh, that's more math than I can do on a Sunday morning. When you were playing around with it didn't want to work until you'd filled out two out of the 6 members. Is that why, if I take this out, is that why it got messy? Because there was just one too few down here. Let's see if we can fix that. All right. I know this one is here. All right, nobody likes the swarm, so all right, the swarm is rat folk. They're poorly trained mercenaries, but when you hire them, you don't get 100 elite troops. You get 5,000 pieces of cannon fodder. So the others who take their training seriously don't have much use for them. The Bloodsingers are half-orcs. They particularly don't like being run all over the place by these guys. The Dedicated Axe won't like them. So let's put in the relationship with the Dedicated Axe. And who's the other mercenary group? Is the Raging Storm? No, Silent Shield. And they really don't like the Silent Shield because the Silent Shield is a spy group that actually features lots of catfolk who particularly don't like ratfolk. So let's go with the Swarm. Let's see if we can throw in a few more of these real quick just to see what happens. Diplomacy. Swarm with Silent Shield. Now the Swarm kinda doesn't like the shield. because they don't trust it. But the shield really doesn't like it. Gotta change that number too. The shield really doesn't like the swarm. Let's also throw in, we've got the Bloodsingers, we've got the Silent Shield, we've got the Free Tree, I'll leave that one in there. Who's the other mercenary organization? Who did I say? Oh, the Dedicated Axe. And again here, the swarm is indifferent to them. I don't like using that yellow, but I'm going to have to. And the Dedicated Axe is not particularly thrilled. And actually, let's give them a slightly favorable. So now what does this look like? Now it's starting to get a little more interconnected. The swarm has got... I'm still missing one. One to the shield, one to the axe. The Bloodsingers, no, that's right. And 1, 2. Is there somebody missing from here? There is. Bay League. They also don't like the Silent Shield. Now these guys with this is the Ratfo pirate group. These guys with the other mercenaries. They're not particularly concerned. But the mercenaries don't like traveling on their ships. So now what does it look like? Why isn't Yasaki's Revenge on this map? Do I have a typo in their label? Wolf's Bay League. Wolf's Bay League. They look the same to you? Saki Revenge and the Swarm. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why is one missing from this map? It's up here. When you were typing in the tag in Yasaki, you did. Oh, did I put a hashtag in that? In Yasaki Revenge? Yes, I did. That's what the problem is. Save. There we go. Now it's starting to look more interesting, isn't it? But you see, the problem is these guys are going to have green lines to everybody. And that's just going to confuse things. Which is why I'm tempted to take them out. So what happens if I take them out now? If I take that out of there, does this break again? No, now it looks better. Okay. Alright, so that's going to work. So yeah, you're right, Isaac. It looked like I have to have at least some minimum number of relationships for it to work properly. Oh, what's happening? Your ninja dinos. Oh, are you playing around with modifying? Okay, you know what? It is 12 o'clock. It is time to go raid somebody. The somebody that we are going to raid is Hefe, who is also working on his Alliance article. So, before we go, everybody, take your channel points, and if you're not a subscriber, take your channel points, and you want the choose an emote option, and you want to grab my raid promote. Not that there's too many of you to do that, but that's okay. It's a Sunday morning. Alright, so once everybody has the raid emote, yep, looks like that. Oh, everybody's playing around with black and whites now, huh? I'm a color dino. I'm from the black and white TV era, but I am a full color dino. Please start thinking, by the way, my faithful folks, please start thinking about pledging yourselves to House Sauropoda. I will tell you that probably in week 1, I have already promised that anybody who pledges their time to me, that time will in turn be passed on to Danny Adventures and House Apis. And the main reason for that is because, at least during that first week, my streams and hers may actually very well be happening at exactly the same time frame. So I don't want to make it look like I'm stealing people from her, since she is one of the major houses. The major houses, by the way, are the 6 people that not only are they extremely active in World Anvil, of course, and in the ASC, but they're the veterans of Nano. To be exact, they are Sable. Let's see if I remember them all off the top of my head. We have Sable, we have Siobhan, we have Darth Nicholas, we have Danny, we have Coffee Quills, and we have Chrysalia. So those are the 6 major houses. Oh, and there is a 7th. There is the Army of the Undead. The Night Army is there. There is a Night King. The Night King is Aaron. And the way the game plays, once a week, the major houses will tally up all of their tribute, and the one with the lowest tribute gets eliminated. Alright, that house can no longer claim tributes. Alright, the people from that house, one of 2 things happens to them. The first thing, everybody that contributed to that house gets their name put into a random name name picker, and 1/3 of those names get assigned to the undead army, and you now spend the rest of your time, if you're one of those, you spend the rest of Nano pledging your time to the Night King, right, who will only grow in power over the course of this game. If you're one of the other 2/3, then you just have to pick a different house to pledge to, and as long as that house is in, it's in. The minor houses, again, at the beginning of each week, we will have to declare who we are going to be contributing to in that coming week, and that's just so we don't play games at the end. Like, I don't look and see who's winning or, who's doing well, and I boost them or cheat. I have to kind of guess in advance who's going to get who to support. If I end up supporting the losing house, then me and my minions also go into that 1/3 draw to the undead army pool. All right, so that risk is there. As far as you folks that are playing but not house running, what happens is when you come to my stream, you will find at the end of the stream, we'll do sprints. And by the way, in Nano, it's going to be lots and lots of sprints. When you come to the stream, you'll find in the channel points, for 1 channel point each, you will find an emoticon or an emote, or an option in the channel points that lets you declare your sprint points, your sprint counts to any one of the 6 major houses, or to in my case, House Sauropoda, the 7th, the minor house. All right, you don't have to, just because you're in my stream, you don't have to pledge your points to me. All right, like I said, I know I'm supporting House Apis in the first week. If you want to support House Cute Little Bunnies for Sable, then you can just pick that emote, and your times will get, your word counts will get reported right up to Sable. All right, so you guys can still support anybody you want. When you are in the stream of a minor house, you get the other option though, and that is to support the minor house. All right, so which in turn will get passed on to one of the other houses. So so that's basically, yes, you can only pledge points during streams. You have to be on a stream, but you can be on any stream. And from what I understand, even the major houses will have an option. Although they won't have a button that says I'm pledging to Sauropoda. When you put your pledge down, all right, it's the way they use the channel point option that lets you type in a message as well. All right, which you have to do that because you have to at least type in your account, your word count. But you would also be allowed, for example, let's say you're on Sable stream, but you want to pledge to my house. All right, you can type 247 Sauropoda, and they'll know, who it goes to. Although when you do that, you should actually give it to, like I said, I'm pledging House Apis, so you would pick the Apis button, but say 247 Sauropoda, and go on, and that would tell everybody, as we're tracking what's going on. That would tell everybody, not only do these points ultimately end up with Danny, but they end up with Danny through me. So I get a chance to see how I'm doing relative to the other minor houses. All right, now there's no prizes, there's no real, this is all bragging rights and trash talking that we're talking about here. But it should be fun. I mean, the whole point of this is to be fun. At the end, the last week of Nano, it should be down to 1 house versus the Night King. All right, to see who wins the whole game. And by then, like I said, the Night King. Once you get assigned to the Night King, you're stuck with the Night King. All right, the Night King doesn't give up its forces. So, but it'll be fun, and there will be rules and guides that get posted between now and the beginning of Nano. We have a month and a bit, to iron out a few. There's still a few details being ironed out. There actually are details being ironed out about doing sprints off stream, and whether or not or how we're going to count those too. So that is being worked on or looked at by Sable and others. Um, so yeah, and by the way, all of those redemptions, they will be 1 point redemptions. So anybody who's been on the stream is going to at least have a point. You'll notice, I mean, again, because it's channel point based. For example, even if you're on a stream with somebody that's not an affiliate, they won't have the option to put these things in. So we're not trying to discourage streamers that are not playing. We're not trying to favor the major houses over the minor houses. This is all fun, and the ultimate goal is to just get everybody writing as much as possible during November to hit nano goals. But we figured, Sable and a few of the others came up with this game plan. A few last-minute tweaks, like I said, to expand it a little bit to get the minor houses in. When I pointed out the importance of some of the minor houses in the game, in the Game of Thrones series itself, they realized, yeah, it'll be fun to have the minors in just to see what happens. I do have to, by the way, formally, I'll give you guys a sneak peek of this before we go on the raid. One of the requirements for the minor house is at the beginning of the week, I must appear on the stream of the house that I will be pledging to that week and formally bend the knee. Now, that doesn't have to involve me on camera getting down on my knees. That would be an ugly sight, and I have the kind of knees that if I did that, I'd never get up. But I do have a piece of artwork prepared to go. Where is it? And just to show everybody, that will be me bending the knee to Danny sometime just before November 1st. So so you had the sneak peek. Nobody else has seen that. Danny hasn't seen it yet. And I did build it in layered fashion so that if we do move on to the second week and I decide to change alliances, I can just get rid of the B and put somebody else or something else in there. Maybe I'll even flip it around every once in a while just for variety. You can redeem on anyone's stream, so I don't think you must be at a major stream. No, you don't have to be at the major streams. But again, redeem at anybody's stream that's playing, which is going to be all the majors and obviously any of the minors. I am required, for example, to include all of the direct major contributing guides options. And in addition to those, I will add one more for myself. The majors are not going to put 22 minor houses also on their list of things. So again, but there will be a way to do that. There will be a way for you to tell people, yes, I'm pledged. Yeah, yes, these points are going to Danny, but they're going to Danny through Bob. So let's see, what am I missing here? I'll have to see if I want to join a minor house. You don't typically run sprints. Yeah, it's practice sprints before Nano. Yeah. No, you do not have to show up at the major houses. Again, that's one of the main benefits. If you want to give all your points to, let's see, who's probably the worst time zone for you in the world, Isaac, would probably be either Darth or Danny. They're about as across the world as possible, I guess. If you want to give them your points, then you can come on my stream. If you did sprints on my stream, at the end of the day, you'd just bring up their channel point option that will be under my channel points, and you would pledge your points to them. Or, like I said, or you can pledge your points to me, and then I will pass them on to, and you'll know who I'm passing them on to. That will be something that I declare at the beginning of each week, and I do have to commit to it. All right, I've already promised the first week is for Danny. Um, so after that, we'll see. We'll see what happens. First of all, Danny may not survive the first week. And even if she does, I may change alliances on the first week. I may bounce around. Or we might stick with Danny. We'll have to see, Maybe we can make that decision on the Thursday or Friday, too. So, yes, I did make a banner, and there it is. It's right over my head, right there. Right there. By the way, our motto is evolve. Because that's what dinosaurs need to do to stay alive and successful. So, all right, I've dallied long enough. I'm 15-20 minutes over. It is time to run a raid. Everybody, you should have the emotes by now. We are going to raid Hefe Live. And I thank everybody for coming. We'll be back on Tuesday. Tuesday will be more Alliance article and lots of sprints. Hopefully I'll have this map thing resolved. And like I said, I'm going to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I'm going to make sure I can do it right on camera. And then when I know I can do all of that, I'm going to devote a 2-hour stream to a map, not just a map start to finish, but a map from a template start to finish. All right, just as a kind of a tutorial. So I promise I will do that. It will happen. It will happen soon, because I have a bunch of these other things that I have to get done too. So I'll have plenty of opportunity. Thank you all for putting up with a frustrating, not technical stream for a change. I haven't had any technical problems, knock wood, since my computer upgrade. This was purely a brain a brain problem. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And otherwise, everybody have a good rest of the weekend. Isaac, for you, that's not much. But enjoy the weekend, enjoy the week, and don't forget to slam those emotes once we get over to Hefe. And let's go now. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1.